This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello, it's Tuesday, March 29th. I'm Rich Pope here with Scott Maxwell and Steve Lemongello, and today we're going to talk about DeSantis signing the Don't Say Gay bill yesterday. And also, Scott Maxwell has an idea that he thinks even you think will be a bad idea, but he thinks it's a good idea here in the state. We're going to move forward here with that Don't Say Gay bill yesterday. Some controversy with this one. DeSantis signed it into law, and it doesn't seem to be the end of the conversation here, Steve Lemongello.
No, there's going to be challenges and lawsuits to this. He signed the what is officially known as the House Bill 1557, Parental Rights and Education Act. Of course, has been derided as "Don't Say Gay" by critics. At a public charter school in Spring Hill, Florida, that's was founded by the wife of the education commissioner. So it all comes around together there.
We will continue to recognize that in the state of Florida, parents have a fundamental role in the education, healthcare, and well-being of their children. We will not move from that. I don't care what corporate media outlets say. I don't care what Hollywood says. I don't care what big corporations say. Here I stand. I'm not backing down.
This bill, of course, it would ban classroom instruction on, quote, sexual orientation or gender identity, unquote, that isn't, quote, age appropriate. Specifically, it mentions like K through 3, but there's an or age appropriate that critics have really, pointed out could mean that this could affect ages up to, grade 8. Corcoran was there yesterday. He was asked about what does age appropriate mean, and he sort of said, "Oh, we all know what age appropriate means. People know what age appropriate is," and then added that most teachers, quote, want guardrails. So the full effect of this law is yet to be seen, because there's just a huge loophole in this law to allow Florida to determine essentially what is, quote unquote, age appropriate up until age 8. Critics are worrying that could mean basically anything.
Yeah, with all the backlash on this one controversy, DeSantis has taken a stand saying this notion of rights of parents is important.
Yeah, he said, quote, we will make sure parents can send their kids to school to get an education, not an indoctrination. He says he doesn't care what corporate media outlets say. I don't care what Hollywood says. Hollywood, of course, Wanda Sykes, the Oscars, joked on Sunday night, "We're going to have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're going to have a gay night." But so DeSantis, I don't care what Hollywood says. I don't care what big corporations say. And just to jump again out of that quote, Disney, of course, has come out in opposition to this. Bob Chapek pulling all political contributions from pausing all political contributions in Florida, which has been a lot. Disney has given millions and millions and millions and millions over the last 28 years, 55 million to all parties and committees of the last 28 years, 5 million in 2020, 2 million so far in 2022, and $100,000 to the Friends of Ron DeSantis since 2019. So he's essentially saying that he doesn't care what these people say. He doesn't care what Disney or opponents say. He's just going forward with it. I think his quote was, "Here I stand. I'm not backing down."
As far as this law standing and taking place, it seems like there's already this thought that it's not going to stick. Like there's going to be challenges from this one coming already.
Yeah, LGBTQ groups are preparing challenges to this already. They're saying that this is, affects freedom of speech. This is a direct gender discrimination banned by Title IX. They're going at it in a lot of different ways, and it remains to be seen what's going to happen with this. The main thing that a lot of critics are worried about is sort of the chilling effect this is going to have. Will teachers and counselors simply just not say anything regarding homosexuality, including up to talking about Pulse or Harvey Milk or something, because this is going to be enforced through the courts. It's not going to be the DeSantis or the state government doing this. Like someone will say something in a school's classroom, and their kids will tell their parents, and then the parents are going to sue. The question is, will this have a chilling effect about what people will say, because teachers and administrators don't want this to happen.
All right, well, not the end of this one. Go ahead and go to orlandosentinel.com for updates and more as we continue to get more information. Moving forward here to Scott Maxwell. So, Scott, you have an idea that you claim that you think a lot of people are going to hate, but you're going forward with this. The idea of giving legislator raises. This seems very un-Scott Maxwell-like.
That is true. I do not normally think much of Florida legislators, so just proposing the idea of giving them more money makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth. I just did it moments ago. But here's the thing, Rich. I've watched this for a while. Florida legislators get a salary of $29,697. That's not a lot of money. So what that means is that most working people, small business folks cannot afford to be legislators. Most people can't take off from their job for at least 2 months. That's just during session. There's pre-session meetings also. So what we end up with is a bunch of independently wealthy people. In fact, a few years ago, there was a survey done, and the average net worth of state senators was $5.9 million. That's the average net worth. And so I think you can make the case that what we end up with is people in the legislature who are pretty wildly disconnected from the real issues Floridians face. And part of the reason I'm writing about it now is we just finished a session where legislators did absolutely nothing on home insurance. Home insurance rates are skyrocketing in this state. The average in premium in Florida is more than double, almost 3 times the national average, and going up 20 and 30%. At the end of the session, Senate President Wilton Simpson said, well, we just didn't have time to get to it. We'll leave it to the next group. Well, Wilton Simpson has a net worth of $31 million. I'm guessing that he's not worried about whether he's going to put dinner on the table because of his insurance rates. I think they're not really in touch with a lot of the financial issues regular Floridians are.
Let me ask you, do you know why they're so low, the pay for legislators? Is it, I understand it's considered probably a part-time job considering they're in session half the year, but why is it so low?
I should be very candid in saying that it's sort of all over the book, a place all over the country. There are states that offer no salary. I found one state that offers salaries of $100 a year. The idea of a citizens legislature, which is what people said here. However, most big states consider legislatures to be full-time jobs. And that's because we have a $100 billion budget in this state. And so most big states pay them commensurate. And I don't think this needs to be sky high. Just to give you an example, in Alabama, Alaska, Minnesota, and Oklahoma, it's about $50,000. That's a mix of red and blue states. In Massachusetts and Michigan, it's $70,000. To bring it back locally, Orange County commissioners make $87,000. So there's generally been this notion that if we're going to ask you to give up your life for public service, and you really have to do that. There's a reason we don't have school teachers and cops in the legislature, because they can't just tell their bosses, I'm going to be off for all of January, February, and March. I hope that's cool. There's a reason. So we don't have those folks up there. I don't think people want to get rich, but I think the idea is that people should be able to subside on what they're being paid.
Yeah, as far as like legislators getting a raise, like they would have to propose it. I imagine if they did, people would be like, no way, this is crazy talk.
Oh, absolutely. This is the least popular idea they could do, and the least popular idea I've ever written about. But here's another thing to consider. I think of Dr. Phil, who I don't really care for normally, but whenever someone tries to justify their bad behavior and they talk about what they're doing, Dr. Phil says, well, how's that working out for you? And I guess I would say, if you run into your average Floridian, they're going to tell you they don't think much of the Florida legislature. That's not just my opinion. Their approval ratings are somewhere around canker scores and ingrown toenails. I think it's usually around 30% or something like that. So what we have going on right now isn't working. I think it should be something that's sustainable, but I don't think that there's a lot of political popularity to it. If lawmakers wanted to make it a little bit more popular, they could do what other people have done. They could vote for raises that would not take effect for themselves. Say they would take effect in 2 years or 4 years, or they wouldn't affect anyone in their current term. And then no one could say they voted for their own salary increase. But I don't expect this one to take off.
Scott, I have to hand it to you. You got pretty nasty on this one. We went with vomit. We went with canker sores. We went with ingrown toenails. I don't know, man. It's Tuesday. It's too early for this.
Well, those are all synonyms for the legislature. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up there. Appreciate you being with us. Go to orlandosentinel.com/subscribe. Become a subscriber. We always do appreciate that. But for us, we're going to go ahead and push pause until tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Rich, Scott, and Steve. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.